Hello, I'm just wanting to pop on and do a quick video about emotional regulation and what a tool that I often use with the people that I work with called the window of tolerance. And this tool's kind of used to try and get a bit of an understanding of how somebody, a child or somebody else, might struggle with emotions or how they might respond. So generally speaking, when we kind of going out about our day to day, we might respond to different incidents that take place, and there might be a particular trigger, something might annoy us, and then as a result we might react to it. So we're going about kind of a day, we're coming along here and something happens and we might be annoyed or upset or angry or something like that, but generally, and we might be a bit up and down. However, generally speaking, what we like to do as humans and to kind of feel kind of good within ourselves and to be able to function effectively, what's helpful is to stay within a particular area, within a particular zone. So this particular section there is called the window of tolerance, because that area is where people generally can tolerate a little bit of distress. But when it comes out of that area of tolerance, it becomes unmanageable. It becomes really, really difficult for the person to sort of understand and to really contain. So what happens with some people, particularly children who struggle with emotional regulation, children and adults as well, by all means, people who have maybe experienced trauma, things that like lots of scary events, and maybe kind of got a feeling that things still feel quite scary around them, even though there might not be a particular specific threat, they might still feel that threat. So what would happen then? There'd be the trigger, and rather than staying within that window of tolerance, what might happen is the person might suddenly become really angry, and they might stay angry up here. They might be feeling like they're in a fight position or in a flight position, and then they might stay up there, and it might be that they gradually calm down, or it could be that something triggers that person, and then actually they become really, really sad, withdrawn, and that might feel like a freeze response. Sort of like somebody might kind of really freeze in the position, or they might kind of be really scared of something, so be compliant in what they do, and it could be that they become quite withdrawn and quite sad and could be quite tearful at those points. So actually, that's quite an extreme kind of way of sort of seeing it, because what sometimes happens, and what you might see, is that there'd be a trigger, and it could cause a reaction initially. Somebody maybe feel quite anxious or quite sad or quite angry, and it would come up here quite heightened, and it might be that they stay on for a while. It's like they'd be staying on, or it could be that what then happens, maybe as an effect of that, is that they might suddenly feel really sad. And that might be as a result of feeling shame or feeling some guilt or feeling confusion about what's just happened. And it might be that then they get suddenly angry again and kind of really sad. And then eventually they might calm down, different things. But I suppose, like, when we look at this model, what can be helpful is to think about how we as individuals respond to things. What is it that's causing us to be hyper aroused? Got it the wrong way around there. Or hypo aroused. So like really heightened, or like really kind of flat and like frozen, or freeze or flop. I sometimes say freeze or flop. And what we can do in response to that is we can do different activities, or we can encourage a child to do different activities. So when somebody's really heightened, more of a calming activity can be helpful. And in art, I would be thinking about sort of like colouring, or like some like quite small brush strokes of painting, like maybe kind of thinking about kind of using just some pencil crayons or something like that. Whereas if somebody was feeling quite like low in their mood, then it might be that they would need something to activate their emotions and to get their nervous system sort of back up and energized. So it could be that if I was to make art with somebody, I might encourage them to like do some really big marks and big brush strokes, and that in itself might not match where they currently are, but actually the sort of physiology of making and moving and being active and like that physical sensation can actually have a really calming sort of influence. So it's that's the kind of bottom line up front, really, that some people, in order to stay within this window of tolerance, would need to have an activity that calms them down. Some people would need to have an activity that boosts them up. So that's what I'm kind of wanting to explain to you about. So let me know if there's any activities that you do that might sort of calm you down if you're feeling agitated or anxious or angry. And if there's anything that boosts your mood, let me know that as well. And we can chat some more about this, because I think it's a really interesting topic. I don't know about you, but I find like some of these topics really interesting, because everybody's so different. But thanks, bye-bye.